and welcome. My name is Hannah, and today I feel brave enough to introduce myself. So hello, this is me. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing this a lot, but I actually did have a quiet moment this morning to be able to do this. My kids are just kind of playing around elsewhere, which is unusual. It's funny because I feel like I can be totally vulnerable and share my most internal thoughts with you guys, but show my face once and I'm like, I'm so scared. Everything else is totally fine. Fair game. You can know the innermost innermost. So I'm wearing this sweater. My dad went to school here and he's no longer with us. So I pretty much always wear this sweater and it's like a comfort thing to me, and I'm always freezing. So I mean, but it's super ratty and like old. I mean, the hands are like stretched out and stuff. So if you're ever like, ew, who's that disgusting person who never changes their sweater? And to that I say, it's me. I'm gonna do some watercolor stuff. I have my sketchbook here. So we're gonna do something easy today, a little bit low pressure, so that we can just kind of have fun and not worry about being like perfect or learn anything new. I don't know if it's gonna turn out good. So yeah, it might turn out to be a load of Okay, so my plan for today is to get a bunch of random water splotches onto my page in hopefully the most loose way that can possibly happen. I'm not really sure how I could get the best splotch, the best splotch in the world. So I test out a couple different things, and the thing that I ended up liking the most was when I did water first and then added the color on top. I mean, it's not like brain science. I did end up trying a couple of different things, but yeah, this was my favorite method, was to get it wet, randomly splotch it on with my paintbrush. Oh, you know what would have been really cool is if I had some kind of a dropper and picked up some watercolor, like really concentrated, and then dropped it from really high. That would have been cool. The problem with that is that I wouldn't be able to really contain the shapes into little things. Oh, I also tried it where I went straight onto dry paper and then sprayed it, and that was kind of ineffective because my sprayer it just turned into one big circle. So for some of them, I do end up coming back and adding another layer on top. Like if I couldn't really see anything in it easily, then I was like, okay, I can do a second layer. Now, I've actually done this challenge before where I do watercolor splotches and turn them into something, and in the past I've used what was I using? Polychromos, I think, colored pencils, and I didn't love how the colored pencils looked on this textured of paper, so I didn't want to do that today to bring out the creatures, and I debated on what I should be using. And remember how I said I didn't want to try anything new today? Well, here we are. Because I am trying these Neocolor IIs by Caran. I have had these in my drawer for a really long time, and I've been too nervous to try them because I couldn't figure out the right application to be playing with them so that I could learn about them. But I figured, hey, this is the perfect opportunity because I thought that I could get it to really play well with the paper and I could get that watercolor effect. Now, I also was trying to keep like the crayon aspect of it too sometimes. So I wanted it to be really smooth like watercolor and blotchy in that way that I like. But I also wanted to see if I could also keep the texture of like the crayon in it also. So yeah, it was a really fun time to play around with these, and you can get so many different textures, which was really, really cool. I started with this one because it seemed so obvious to me that it was a bunny creature, and I don't know what these little green things hanging off of it are, but I think that's part of the fun, is that you don't really know what you're creating, and it doesn't have to make sense. As long as the shading is good, like, you can make anything work, and I think it's really cool. Now, one thing that, okay, so I mentioned I've done this challenge before. Did I mention that? So I've done this challenge before, and one thing that I didn't love about the way that I did it last time was I got too close to it, too involved in making it appear the way that I wanted it to appear, that I lost some of the freeness of the watercolor underneath. So this time today, as I'm doing this, I'm trying to keep that in mind, to not lose the freeness of the watercolor underneath, but still like putting effort into making it look what I see. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would be really easy to go into some of these and just put an eyeball and you'd be like, oh, okay, I know what it's supposed to be now. But I still wanted to kind of work for it and do what I wanted to do, but also keep the balance of the watercolor did something cool underneath too, and that has its own shapes and things that I don't want to lose by just coloring over it to make it what I want it to be. I think that you kind of get what I'm saying, but I also have to say the same thing like 5 times. Now, there is something that is happening to me, and it's so unfortunate, and it's kind of breaking my heart a little bit, but it is that I'm feeling a little bit stuck in my creativity, like my imaginary art. There we go. And I'm talking specifically about my eyes, not my eyes, but the eyes that I draw. I love hollow eyes. Those are always my go-to. Those are always what brings me the most, like, it gives my gut a really good feeling to draw these eyes, but it's kind of not having the same effect anymore. And I think okay, let me slow down for a second. So when I look at some stuff that I've done in the past that do have hollow eyes, I still get that excitement looking at them. But every time that I try to do it now, it's like something has changed, and I don't know what that change is. So I'm kind of trying to take a little bit of a break from hollow eyes and branch out and try to learn different kinds of eyes that work for me. That's like another sub challenge is that when I do eyes on this one, I'm trying to have all the eyes look a little bit different so that I can kind of practice branching out and see what works for me. But there are some where I'm like, maybe the hollow eyes will work for this one. And you guys, it never does. It's such a bummer. I feel like I totally glossed over the introduction at the beginning. I'm not really somebody who enjoys necessarily the attention on me. In fact, not necessarily, I definitely don't. Which is kind of funny because why am I doing videos then? I actually kind of treat videos as like a diary. And I've mentioned this before, but I need an outlet for my thoughts and my hands. I need to keep my hands busy and my mouth busy. Oh geez, where's this going? So if I can keep my hands busy while doing art and my mouth busy talking about art and getting my thoughts out that kind of trouble me sometimes, then I can't get sucked so far back in my brain where it feels like I'm so distant from everything. Basically, it keeps me present. But as far as introducing myself today, it's not a secret what I look like. I'm not trying to it's not some big mystery. I don't really care about that. It's just that I'm really shy. Believe it or not, I am very, very introverted, and I can turn on my extroversion for like 20 minutes at a time, but that's pretty much it. And then I just go back into my little hole and I stay there. I'm a content hole hider and not an angsty one. So yeah, it is really beneficial for me and my family for me to have a hobby like this. But I thought that if I showed my face once, then if you kind of struggle with the same things that I struggle with, if you could put a face to the voice and know that I'm a real person and struggling right along with you, then I don't know, maybe it could help somebody in a weird way. Maybe Maybe it'll help somebody. Okay, so this one is probably the weirdest one of them all in that I can't tell if I like it or if I absolutely hate it. It's one of those things where I was trying so hard to get outside of my comfort zone and try something different, instead of doing the fox that I could see that was kind of jumping down at first. I wanted to turn it into like a ninja warrior who is jumping down in an action pose, holding a shield, and he's very masculine and tough, But I think that my main problem was I used too many colors all at once instead of letting it dry and then do different colors, and I ended up kind of muddying everything up. But yeah, that's kind of the main problem with this one. I think it turns out good still. It's just that I did too much all at once. But the thing that I absolutely love about this one is that his hair is the watercolor. Like, the watercolor liveliness is his hair, and I absolutely love that. That was what I was so excited to keep. So while it's not like my favorite one because I feel like I pushed it too hard in this direction, there is something good that came out of it, which is his hair, but it still turns out really confusing to me because this is still one where I love it and I hate it at the same time. Like, it's not one or the other. I both love it and I hate it. Does that ever happen to you guys? But I'm almost done with him, and then I will try to figure out the next thing that I want to do. I don't know where this little mark came from. It wasn't there before, but I kind of like it because it looks like his other paw is reaching up. You'll see it next time I show you. But in the meantime, I have to switch these so that the points are facing at me because it was absolutely driving me nuts. And then we'll move on to this next purple one. So this one, all I could see was a horse creature that has antenna, and he is flying in the sky. So that's my direction. I will let you decide if you like it or not. That's all I'm gonna say. But while I do this, because I honestly don't know what's happening, it just kind of all happened in the moment, and I mean, you'll see what I mean at the end. But while I do this, should we talk about, can I talk about TV shows with you guys? Because my husband and I this summer have been watching so many TV shows, and we have hit some good ones. Okay, the first one that we binged was Landman. Ooh, that was so good. We watched that so fast. It did not take many nights for us to finish that one. Another really good one that we watched was Sugar. And that one took a turn. That one really, really surprised me. I did not see that coming. Kind of a side note, I have become afraid of aliens. Something in my life that has happened is I'm now afraid of aliens when I sleep. I'm scared that they're gonna be standing at the side of my bed, because one time I woke up and I swore that I saw a little creature about 2.5 feet tall that was not my 2.5 feet tall creature. Just standing there, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. And I know that you're gonna think I'm nuts about it. I think I'm nuts, but let me tell you, I couldn't sleep for a really long time. I still can't sleep, but for different reasons. But watching Sugar, it did help me a little bit be more comfortable to sleep in my own bed at night. So that's nice. We also watched Lioness, which is really good. It's really, really good. It's funny because before I was married, I didn't care at all about like shooter shows or military type shows. But now that my husband watches them and I watch them with him, I'm like my eyes are glued to the screen and I can't stop watching it until it's all the way over. I have to know what happens. Yeah. So those are the three that were like the absolute best that we've been watching recently. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change it to 4 because I've already mentioned this last one last week, I think. Dark Winds. Ooh, that's a good one. That's the most recent one that we just finished. We just finished it last night, and I'm kind of bummed about it because now we don't have anything new to watch. So if you have any recommendations, I'm all ears over here. This one, okay, back to the art for a second. So this one turns out to be one of my favorites. I really, really, really like it, and I never hated it. So I don't know why I had to say that, but I never do hate this one. But this one could have gone two different directions. It could have gone this way or an octopus route. And I'm glad that I landed on this way because I felt like if I did the octopus way, then I would have run into the same problems as I did with the ninja guy, where I would be kind of forcing it to be like I would be forcing it. And I didn't really want to do that 2 times in a row, so I just kind of went with what I felt. And I'm glad that I did that. It felt very reassuring that my instincts are right. I liked that the watercolor underneath on his shell, that it has that like blue, it kind of looks like he's see-through, or he's like maybe an exoskeleton can be seen underneath. I think that's really, really cool. I feel like this is one of those videos where I can't really promise that I'm going to talk about anything at all, but also I feel like I'm talking about everything all at the same time. So I'm sorry it's all over the place. I'm going to take it in even more of a different direction. So I did lose my dad when my daughter was 1. So about 8 years ago, he died from pancreatic cancer. And it was one of those things where he got the diagnosis and then 5 or 6 weeks later, he was gone. I mean, I feel like a lot of us have been there, so my experience isn't really any different from anybody else's, but I am going through one of those weird patches where I just miss him a lot, and it's kind of for no reason. But since I mentioned him in the very beginning of the video, because I literally do live in this sweater, I wanted to kind of give you the story of that. But let's move on to the video. So this one was really cool. I wanted to try to challenge myself with drawing something that had 2 different creatures in it and practice kind of a relationship kind of thing. And the way that this one turned out was kind of fun. It turned into, this is a kid who always plays in the starfish area, even though he's not supposed to, and he got another starfish stuck on his head, and his dad caught him, and he's like, I've told you a million times. He's like, I've told you a million times to stay away from the starfish, and the kid's just like, ah ha ha ha, you can't stop me. Anyway, that's how I kind of picture this story to go, and I think it's really, really funny. But now I am done with this one, and I tied up a loose end on this beetle, which, by the way, I didn't talk about at all, but is it worth talking about? I mean, it's not. I don't think it's one of my best, but whatever, it's okay. It was still fun. But this one, I was having so much trouble seeing anything that could be one cohesive drawing, and I could see a mask and I could see like a goblin witch. So I didn't know how those 2 things were going to interact with each other, but I decided let's just see what happens. If I move forward with it, maybe something magical will happen. We'll see. So me, as Hannah from the future, wants to tell you guys, don't get your expectations high on this one. This is one where I kind of, like, I finished the Goblin Witch, and then I was like, I don't know how I can get these 2 things to interact, so I'm just gonna kind of leave it. I think that it's finished, because literally I don't continue it, so does that mean that it's finished? I mean, I would say so, but this one is just about done, and then we'll take a look at the whole spread and how all of them turned out. And even though we didn't talk about every single one as we were doing it, I still had a really good time, and I hope you did too. 100% the bunny one and the blue baby thing are my favorites. I think of all of the spreads that I do, these ones turn out to be some of my favorites because it's so unpredictable and you never know what's going to come out of your noggin, both in what you say and what comes out of your hands. So thanks for sticking around, and I will see you in the next one. Toodaloo.